everyone, my name is Leanna from the Dish on Reels and welcome to my channel. And today we're going to be making the Luffy's Gum Gum fruit from One Piece. So I think I showed it already in a short and shared it, but today I'm going to show you how I made it. Of course it's not a healthy option, but it's a yummy option. So don't forget right now to help me out with my new channel and to go ahead and like and subscribe. I'll wait. Thank you very much for liking and subscribing. I'm just getting used to the YouTube channel and editing and everything, so be patient as I put content up, and I'm having a lot of fun, with everything. So I like working with One Piece and reacting to it, so I will be doing some reactions and reviews. I think it's a fun show and it's got a lot of food, so we'll be doing reactions, we'll be doing some food eating, matching it, possibly with clips or, just by itself. I don't know, we'll just, see. But we're getting ready to start to make our gum gum fruit. You want to start with, of course, your green apple. So we got a nice green apple. I couldn't find the larger ones. The last time I made one, I found the large green apple. So this is going to be like a medium-sized one. You want to wash it and dry it, and then let it, get good and dry before you try to put everything on here. I like Wilton. So Wilton's fondant is what I use for the fondant. It's actually really sweet. Sometimes you'll get a fondant that tastes like cardboard. This one is really sweet, and the color that I used was the purple vanilla. So it's a vanilla flavor, it's just the purple coloring. So I really liked it. It's super sweet. And then you always need something to adhere your fondant to whatever you're putting it on, and especially with an apple. So what I'm using is this Marzetti's caramel dip. I'm going to put some, it's really simple to make this. The hardest part is making the little swirly designs on the apple. That might take some time. But this right here, I just put it on the outside of the apple and then wrap it in fondant, and then put some more caramel on top of the fondant when I'm ready to apply this little swirls. So yeah, I'm just gonna let you see. That's the Marzetti brand that I like to use. And one more time so you can see this Wilton here. And then you just want to go and you can go to Walmart or get them on Amazon, these little bamboo dowel rods. They usually sell them where they sell the fondant at, and this way you can use it as your caramel apple stick. And I had decided what size I'm going to use, probably the smaller one here. And then as you roll out your fondant, if it gets sticky, you don't want to use flour, but you can get away with using the confection or powdered sugar on it, because that's also sweet. It's not going to mess up the taste or anything. The fondant, when you take it out of the box, is just going to, look like this, and you got to open it up and roll it out yourself. So I'll be back in just a minute when I figure out how to open this. So you're going to get this block of fondant like this, and I'm going to start with 1/3 of the block, cutting it off, because I want to try to save as much as I can for the little swirlies. And of course, if you're making this for someone, first always make sure you wash your hands, which I did, but then you can always use plastic gloves if you want. But this is going to be for me, so I'm not going to worry about plastic gloves. And then we're just going to take a roller and start rolling it out like this, both ways. And we're just going to get it as flat as we possibly can, because even when it's flat, I can tell you it's going to be a lot of fondant on your caramel apple. So you probably won't eat most of the fondant. It's going to be for decorative purposes. Most of that fondant you're going to you might want to take off. But it's just going to be fun to have that gum fruit. That's going to look super cute if you're having like a get together or a party with one piece. You'll have that little caramel apple and it'll actually be a fruit. So the last time when I showed you guys my gum fruit, I used a half of this brick of fondant, which was way too much fondant. So I thought this time I would try using a third and just thinning it out a little bit more. And what you're going to want to do with your apple is go ahead and face it face down, because that's the way it's going to sit. And when you put your stick in there, of course you want it to be straight up. So we got to deal with this delicately. We're just going to make sure this lifts up pretty easily on each side. And if you find it sticking, go ahead and use some of that, the confection sugar. And then we're just going to like press it on there. It doesn't have to be perfect, because once you, once we fold it up, we'll start pressing it, and it's going to be under all the swirlies anyway. But try to get it as snug as you possibly can so it doesn't like pocket up. Like you can see, I'll show you in a minute, you can see all the lines in here, but I'm just trying to pull it as much as I possibly can. So it's not going to look super perfect, but then you can just kind of smush it, because you're not going to see all of this. Just make sure you don't get any holes in there. Try to push out any like puffs and perforations. And then like maybe put your finger in there a little bit just so you know where the top of the apple is. And I'm just trying to press the folds in as much as I can. That's why if you're going to have people eating this, you definitely want to use some gloves or something, because your hands are going to be all over it. And you'll just keep doing this and work it in there. Because you want it to be as perfect as you possibly can. And when you do this, you're going to lose like where the top of it is, which is why it's good to just go ahead and get your little indention in there so that you know where the indention is, like right in there. And you can use something else to push that with as well. So once you get the fondant on here the way you want it, let it sit for a few minutes, because it's going to like pucker out again, and then just kind of like press it on there again. What'll stop it from puckering? Okay, so we're back. I just wanted to, I was struggling with the dowel, so I turned the camera off to put the dowel in there so you didn't see me struggling trying to push it in. Of course, you know, you might need help or something depending on how soft or hard the apple is. And so there we go. And then it's going to pucker a little bit probably. So you're going to want to just, you know, after you get it on there, just keep like pushing it in, you know, just pushing it around so it touches. And then what I like to do is set the caramel apple on some wax paper and put it in the refrigerator. And then we'll move on to the next step. So if you want to just see how cute that is. You know, already we got our purple gum fruit. We just want to make it look more like the gum fruit. Okay, so we're gonna begin on the second step. The second step is we're going to take this 2/3. We might not need the whole 2/3. You're just going to use this to make your swirly S's that go on the gum fruit, and you might have some left. And it's really up to you what size, you know, you want to make the swirly S's, but we're basically going to take the rest of this and roll it out like so. And this doesn't have to be rolled out into any particular shape, because we're going to cut them in the shapes that we want it to be cut in. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. And we're also going to try to get these as thin as possible too. So just so you know, I had to think of like how I wanted to make my gum fruit. That took me a while, but then I just dove in. I'm not a chef or with any cooking experience other than I've cooked for my kids, raising them and my grandkids, so for decades, because I just had a birthday. I'm 60 years old. So I've done a lot of making up recipes, and basically I made this up. I looked all through YouTube to look for an example because I was going to give credit to another YouTube channel. I couldn't find anything. I think there was like a melon type deal, but I wanted something that you could actually just bite into it, like right then and there. So this is my version of Luffy's gum fruit. So, and as you see, we're still rolling this out. It's not thin enough yet, so we're just going to keep working on it. Yeah. Okay, also, I brought this back over. I just wanted you to know, on this one, it's me. I forgot to put the caramel applesauce on the apple before I put the fondant on, but it seems to be sticking pretty good. But what I would do is cover your apple with some of this, just take a knife, and then put the fondant on. So it can be done either way, because apparently my fondant is staying on there, but it's just going to be more delicious if you put this on first and then put it on under your swirls, because you're going to taste that caramel appleness. So I'm going to turn this around because I'm kind of tired of moving this around. But yeah, I can't believe I cut out the caramel apple. And if I bought some more fondant, I would show you the caramel apple on top of the apple. But it tastes really good when you put the caramel apple on top of the apple, then the fondant. We're just going to keep, like, even this, I don't know if you can see this, that's still way too thick to make your S's, and put it, because it's an apple, it's too thick. We're just going to keep doing this. And, you know, even if you tear it, that's fine, because you're probably going to re-roll it anyway and just keep, you know, using it. So we got it, you know, pretty much lifted up so it's not sticking. And then you could just take a little knife and determine how wide. I'm going to cut this edge off right here because it's not super even. And that'll be one we re-roll, but I would suggest rolling it up as you get them, roll them up in a ball so they stay kind of moist. And then you can just put your little strips over there. And I'd say maybe about a 1/4 inch wide. It doesn't have to be perfect. And quite frankly, you could probably use a pizza cutter for this, which is what I think I'm going to do. I'm just coming up with this as I go. When you saw my gum fruit on the short, that was the first time I ever made it. I'm not following any directions, doing the same now. But I went and got me a pizza cutter. We're going to see how this turns out. And I wouldn't cut the whole thing, you know, up right away, but just cut enough that, you know, you can work with. And then you might have to get you a second board. That's what I'm getting ready to bring in, a second board, so that I don't have to move these. And then I'd say maybe about 3 inches long. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just cut them so that they're about, I'd say 3 inches long. Or if it's this size, just cut it like in thirds. Like 1, 2, 3. So we got 3 little rows. And I'll show you. We'll just bring this in. And you can see where I cut these. About like a third. Luckily, I didn't have to use any of the powdered sugar, but really it didn't discolor the fondant the last time either. But my fondant was sticking that day, so I just sprinkled a little bit on there and then rolled it, and it just rolled right in with the fondant, and it was basically the same color. So yeah, that was amazing. And then we're just going to take our strips that we cut out like this and form it into like a little S. And then what you're going to do after that is just kind of flip this up, roll this one up like so. It takes a minute to get the hang of it, but roll this one back. And this one's really not a perfect one, so you're going to get to see my imperfect attempt. So you roll like the front forward, and then roll the back backward. And even if they're not perfect, they're still going to look great once you like kind of push them down onto the apple. I'm going to go ahead and just make a few of these. And just know your fondant, that's why you want extra fondant, because they're all not going to be perfect. You're going to roll them out, make your swirlies, probably determine which ones are usable, which ones are not. The ones you don't think are usable, put them back in the ball, roll them out, and make them again so that they're perfect. And do another one. Like so. And we're rolling this one. This one's a better one. See, that's what it's going to look like. Now I'm just going to roll a few of these so that we can cover our caramel apple. And you can even make these thinner, which I would recommend. If you think you can work with the fondant thinner, then definitely do so. And then just roll it. Now I can tell you, I tried this with gloves and it didn't work for me, but then I also have long nails, so it was also a bit challenging. So maybe the person that doesn't have long nails or that can work with the plastic gloves the best would be in charge of making these, while you do everything else. You can pay your grandkids. That's what I had planned to do today, is pay one of them, or, you know, just let them do it. They would probably do it for free. And just so you know, I am using, again, that Wilton fondant right here. But you literally can use, and I've never made it. I did look up the recipe and I was going to do it. And then I said, let's just do it the easy way for the person like me. I don't bake really or make a lot of sweets, but I just wanted to make the gum fruit. You can make your own fondant. Basically, you're using marshmallows and powdered sugar and I think a little bit of water. There's probably like a measurement thing that you'll do to get that consistency, and I don't know how you, but I would, you know, you could look it up if you want to make your own fondant. But it's not too hard. When I looked at the instructions, it wasn't too hard, you know, whatsoever. Hey, Charlie, my grand doggy is walking by. He's in the video a little bit there. But yeah, you could do your own fondant as well. But I'm telling you, this is not the fondant from a long time ago. This fondant's pretty sweet. It's very sweet. Good rule of thumb is you can literally sit this up on its side, like make it in an S. I don't know. Let's put this down a little bit. You can sit it on its side, roll it in an S, and that's probably the easiest way to do it, because then, you know, roll this forward. And once you get the handle of it, all you gotta do is roll. Just roll. And then take this one in the back and roll it as well. Try to get it as tight as you can, but loose is fine. It's still going to be the same look. Then you can take it at both ends and just roll them towards each other. That's the easiest thing to do. Like once you get them twirled a little bit, then just take, just like that, and roll it. Like if you have it like that, just roll it like that. Yeah. I'll do it again. Like I took some of this out and then just roll, whoops, I kind of let loose of that. Roll them together and you'll get that S. Other thing that I noticed when making these is if you don't necessarily have to form it into the S, but if you start it and roll forward at the top just a little bit and roll backwards at the other end, you can really just take them both at the same time and start rolling them. I hope you can see this. You could just start rolling them at both ends. Just hold on to them. I did this perfectly a few minutes ago. And roll them into each other. And then so that they stay, because sometimes they're going to fall apart. They're going to loosen up. All of the swirls that you did, I would put them kind of next to each other. Not squish them, but that'll help hold them in place. So I have a whole bunch of them already done. Right there, there's all my swirls. Then we're going to move the camera. Yeah, you get to see, whoop, my grand doggy's in, kind of, he wants to be in the picture too, so. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to, I just opened up my Marzetti caramel apple dip. It's in there. And we're going to cover, I'm not going to cover the whole apple yet, I'll do it in portions. But yeah, if you stick this in the refrigerator before you do it, it's going to make that fondant harden up a little bit so it's not super, soft. And for me, because really this is about the caramel apple taste, I'm going to be using 2 of these. One for each side. Okay. Had to clean up my area. Watch out, Charlie. And you want to get it like on the top too, like near the dowel, because you're going to be putting some of this on the dowel. So you might really want to use 2 or 3 of these, because you want it to have a nice coating, like a nice thick coating. And just a little heads up, some of these are going to slide, so you're going to have to keep fixing it, and as soon as you get all of them on there, you're going to want to put it in the refrigerator again to kind of harden it up. And you'll just start placing these however you want them. But I would start at the dowel, like where the dowel is. Just so you can kind of cover them up a little bit. Squish some of that up there. And we got the top of the dowel done. And then squish them as close together as possible. And as you see them sliding, just fix them back up until you're ready to put it in the refrigerator. So none of this is, cooking. You don't have to cook a thing. You can see the caramel apple kind of popping up a little bit on the sides. That's okay, because it just tells people it's a caramel apple when they see the caramel. But just put them as close together as possible. And they don't all have to go in the same direction. And they don't have to be the same thickness. You'll see some of mine are skinny, some of them are thicker. And I'm just going to show you guys. You can see the transformation already. I had so much fun just making this up. Let me move that out of the way. So I'm just putting them in there however I want. There's no like uniform way. The uniform was really just the swirls, getting the swirls right. Oops. Well, I had the dishwasher going. Wanted to make sure it didn't go again. If you make sure you put the dowel in first, you know, before you start all of this, you can hold on to it as you're putting these on, the little swirls on. I think I'm going to face this one this way. This one's a little bigger. I'm just plopping them in there. You can even, if you don't think you can do this fast enough, put it in the refrigerator for like 15 minutes and let them kind of, the ones you put on there get kind of hard. And then start it all over again. Oops. You can see all that goodness and that caramel in there. So just so this doesn't fall, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for a few minutes. You can see what I've done so far. And we're not even done yet. To make it caramely like you want it to be, because I use 2 just for the exterior of the shell of the apple for the fondant between the twisties, I would probably use 1 whole one on the apple itself before you put the fondant on, then the other 2, so 2 on over the fondant to put these on. And this kind of froze, or not froze, but kind of solidified nicely, putting it in the refrigerator. And basically that's all you'll have to do is just kind of move it around, let it set. Plus it gives you a nice little break because this takes a while to roll these. Made my back hurt a little bit, but that's okay, it was worth it. Get those on there. And it's okay to let some of the caramel apple show. It just lets people know, again, that it's a caramel apple. And hopefully we made enough of these. I've got more fondant if I don't have enough. But you definitely want to fill it in so that it looks like, you know, Luffy's Dum Dum fruit. And you can just put them in there any way you want. It doesn't have to be, actually putting them in different directions just kind of helps it look more natural. Really, I just need 1 or 2 more to fill that in. And just be careful of the wax paper sticking. So I would kind of move the wax paper off of it. Get a new piece of wax paper after you're done. I think we just need 2 more. We're going to go ahead and do those. I'm going to roll it forward, roll this side backwards. And roll them at the same time. There we go. We're almost done with this part. And I would recommend covering the fondant when you take your break, covering the fondant with some type of foil, what have you. Okay, so basically you get my final product. And what I did, you don't have to do this, but what I did is use those cheap little flowers, you know, that you can get like at Walmart or wherever, just artificial. Wash the stem, and then I cut it off. I did buy these as well, but if I wasn't going to decorate it, I thought these looked better, more natural. And then I just cut it with some wire cutters like this. Like this. I actually had my son-in-law help me to cut these, because they look like a leaf, and I know they're not the gold, and I'm sure you could paint them or something. But I literally just bent it to kind of look like that leaf, and then just stuck it in the caramel sauce. So I know we have like a little mess to clean up here, but I'll show you. We're done. So yeah, I did clean that off with my fingers, but I'm gonna just give you a close-up. Move this out of the way of my finished caramel apple. And with all the fondant on there, it makes it pretty big. Literally, I mean, one person I guess could eat it, but literally I cut mine the last time into 4 pieces, and then everybody could have a little bit of Luffy's one-piece gum fruit. So yes, so this is my final product. And then I'm going to take it off of here, just so you can see like how I would plate it. It would be nice if I could find like some one piece, let's put this over here. Like if I could find some one piece plates. So here's the final product. Just let me know if you like this, and actually if you could like and subscribe on my channel, that would be great. And then also if you try to make this at home and you make it this way or you do it differently, if you could just go ahead and post those and tell me what you did, and if you want me to try to make it for you again so everybody can see, I'll do it and I'll give you credit for it. But this is my one-piece gum fruit for Luffy. So there. And that's for Luffy. In honor of Luffy and him becoming the best pirate. Arr. Thank you guys again, and see you next time.